Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Artemis and Miss D. Say hi, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hi guys.
So, what do we got going on today? Well, we are at the halfway point for Rust development in the month, and we're over here on the Aux 2 branch to show off the most recent upcoming vehicles coming into the game, the bikes. They're not super ready to go yet, but they're a work in progress. They're coming along. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to do at Miss D underscore that's me in chat, and we'll get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. Also, I think I might have turned on closed captioning, but I'm not seeing it on the stream. I think maybe you have to turn it on. But if you are someone who would like closed captioning, it might be an option now in our stream. This is our first week testing it, so maybe it's not working. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Oh wait, maybe I have to click to start captions. Let's see. Maybe that does it. I don't know. I figured we'd try it on an off week where there's not too many people watching. But let's see if
Did
that
you
works.
see that?
New farming. Yep.
I just fucking broke down a tree with
You're
the
knocking
bicycle.
trees down
Yeah,
with the bike. I love it.
yeah. Gadunk.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Easy farm.
snowmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But anyway, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to do at Misty underscore that's me in chat. Also, it's mid-month, so we do have some wipes today. When it comes to Rustafied server whips, it is the bi-weekly and weekly Thursday wipe servers that are wiping. So that's your mains, your mediums, your trios, your smalls, your Zen Labs, your solos, and the like. They wipe at regular scheduled time, which is 3 p.m. local time for the region, which means AU and SEA already wiped like 11, 12 hours ago. EU wiped 3 hours ago, and US wipes 2 hours from now at 3 p.m. EST. And once again, it's going to be like US main, the mediums, trio, solo, small, and Zen Labs map wiping today. So let's get into it. What do we got going on development? Well, as I mentioned, we're over here on the Aux 2 branch, and just merged into that branch this week, we had the bikes functionality. And you can see there are going to be, and actually that bicycle is working way better than it was last night when I was testing it. So they're definitely making improvements here. And what we're seeing is there's going to be basically two types of this new type of vehicle. So there's going to be pedal powered bikes, and then there's going to be motorbikes. You can see the motorbikes are not fully textured yet. It's kind of like the white boxes that we've got. And then there's a real janky motorbike sidecar placeholder in there as well. And there's also going to be, yeah, as you can see, a sidecar option, it looks like, with the motorbike. So you'll be able to drive around with a friend next to you. The functionality, as I mentioned, is about where the textures are at with this, where not quite in there yet. It's still very much a work in progress. As you're probably aware, the aux 2 branch is where the very initial testing can happen. This is like basically once the devs have gotten a branch ready for even the most rudimentary testing, sometimes they'll put it on aux 2. Now, we don't always have access to aux 2 as players, but sometimes the devs do give access out for the community to get in and test a new functionality. And this is one of those months where you do have access to the aux 2 branch. And then on the aux 2 branch, we're able to spawn in a couple of these new bikes. And what we're seeing based on what we can spawn in, again, is a pedal-powered bike, a motorbike, and a motorbike with a sidecar. Looks like the main three variants we've got going on with this functionality. So no word on what these are going to cost, how these are going to be obtained or crafted quite yet. I don't know if they're going to be craftable or if you're going to buy them from a vendor or find them around the map and fix them like cars. Not sure, but they're definitely coming along as far as the functionality and look of them is concerned. I like the bicycle. The pedal bike is nice and rusty with its styling, and I imagine the motorbike, once it's ready to be textured, will be a similar kind of vibe to it. And no word on when these are going to make it in the game. Given we're halfway through the month and we're seeing it on Aux 2, I think there's a slight chance we could see this for the June update. What date was that going to be, by the way? June 6th, 2 weeks from today, will be the next update. And not sure, I think there's a small chance we could see this for the June update, but it very well might take until July or August, given, a new vehicle coming in has a lot of, I was going to say bells and whistles. This literally might have some bells and whistles, but there's a lot to test and a lot to make sure is working properly. So I give it a small chance we might see it in June, but nevertheless, bikes are available on Aux 2 and they're coming along. So it'll be a cool new vehicle type to enter the game. We've also got some more work this week on the Radtown Redux, which is going to be the next new type of monument coming in. I'm not sure if the Radtown Redux is going to be just literally one monument on the map or if it will be more like a new monument variant type where there'll be a couple variants that might show up around the map. All we have as far as visuals are concerned are the screenshots that the devs posted the other week, and we haven't gotten any fresh visuals on it yet. But nevertheless, the commits are still cranking like crazy on this Radtown Redux. It looks like they're working on the various textures of the buildings, colliders, and junk piles around, and everything like that. If you're unfamiliar, this is kind of a throwback to the legacy rad towns. There was small and large rad town back in the legacy days, and this is a throwback to the old rad town vibes of legacy. And so I imagine there will be radiation at these monuments, as it is called a rad town. And there'll be some loot as well. It looks like as part of this body of work, there's maybe a new type of loot crate that they're bringing in, a legacy loot crate. And we're keeping an eye on this as it comes together. It is still just on its own branch. It's not merged into Aux 2 or anything yet, so it's not available for testing. And that does make me think that it will not be available for the June update, most likely. Nevertheless, progress is moving along very nicely with that. So I imagine sometime in the summer we will see this new type of monument come into the game. And this might also be coupled with they're still working on redesigning some of the monuments. We've got the compound redesign in the works. And I think there's several other monuments that they've got planned to do some overhauls to. And so over this year, it definitely looks like we're going to be seeing not only some new monuments and rad towns enter the game, but a complete overhaul of several of the monuments that all have been in the game for a while now. So as always, we'll keep you posted as more comes to light on that. And then on top of that, we've got some more on the Crude gestures. So you might recall from last week, there was a hack week last week, and one of the hack week projects was taking on some new gestures. And these gestures, as the name implies, are a little more crude or rude or coarse. I don't know. My internal thesaurus is running low today. But anyway, you can flip people the bird. You can give people the double middle finger. There's a cutthroat thing. There's finger guns. There's my favorite, which is the cranking middle finger, and various other things coming into the game. And I mention it because this week it kind of moved from a hack week project, which hack week projects may or may not make it into the game. Very often they don't. And it moved from that to, I think, like the media projects branch, which for me is an indication that this will actually be making it into the game. We're not sure if these will just be handed out to everyone as new additional gestures, or if there's going to be like a middle finger DLC or like a fuck your mother DLC. I'm not sure if this would be a DLC. But maybe it will be, or they'll just give it away to everyone in the game. I have a feeling it's going to be the latter. I can't, although it would be funny, and I'm sure they get some flack for it, to create a DLC that's literally just allowing people to give the finger. I feel like probably they won't do that, but maybe they will. We'll keep you posted. No word exactly on how these gestures will be released into the game, but it was impressive to see like these new gestures take form so quickly over the course of 1 week, and so I think there is a chance that we could see this going into the game as early as June. Now, also, we have a whole bunch of fixes going on. The team, following up from last week and the week before, we've seen a slew of miscellaneous fixes making their way into the game. And this week is no different. We see another long, long list of various fixes coming on into the game. There's miscellaneous fixes for like the coffin storage adapter. There's some fly hack fixes. There's some translation fixes. There's some fixes for unharvestable ghost trees, and there are various fixes for horses. I'm sure horses are still not going to be up to par of where many people would like, but we did see a couple fixes for horses come in and some various fixes for mission UI and the MLRS screen map stencil, sometimes clipping into the player's leg. Basically, fixes all over the place and in very much in the miscellaneous category. If you want to see a full list because you geek out on specifically what the fixes are, we do have it along with other news about development this week on rustified.com. If you're not aware, I do an article every Thursday that does summarize in text and pictures what's going on in development. And there is kind of a full list of all the fixes there on this week's article. Personally, I'm not going to read every single one because I don't think it matters. But it's always nice to see fixes come into the game, and that always does kind of result in better quality of life and all that stuff. So it's nice to see the devs focusing on that. Then on top of that, there's a bunch of other stuff also being worked on. There's various improvements to map performance going on. Some of this is part of a Hack Week project from last week that looks like it is actually making it into the game, where they're collapsing colliders for the various different things for the monuments around the map. So basically, just optimizing the monuments further so that they load in easier. And they're also playing with a bunch of different stuff with the asset warm up when you're loading into the game, playing with the idea of pre-baking some of those assets so your computer doesn't have to kind of load them. They just download and they're kind of loaded into memory already, type of thing. So overall, it's cool to see this. It looks like we'll potentially have not only faster connections to servers through this body of work, which is several different facets, but then on top of that, it looks like once you're in the game, we might see better FPS and less hitches and stutters while traversing the map in game due to these various performance improvements. So that's always nice to see. There's also more work on some textures, some new textures for jackhammers. So it looks like jackhammers may soon be looking a little different. There's also an interesting body of work around prisoner hoods and handcuffs. And this is something we just saw get picked up again the other week for the first time. Handcuffs were, I believe, in concept limbo for a number of years. We had seen, I want to say back in like 2017 or something like that, we saw some commits around handcuffs, and it was like considered back then, I suppose. But then it kind of went in the concept limbo bucket for a number of years. But now we're seeing it come back, and some interesting functionality is also looking like it's coming through with this hood and handcuffs. Because it looks like this isn't just two new items entering the game. It looks like these items are actually going to enable people to capture prisoners and tie them up and have a player surrender and all these things. And what we just saw 5 hours ago on a commit from Adam to this branch is something like only the belt of the surrendering player can be modified. The rest of the inventory is going to be view only. So, kind of like the idea that someone can surrender, the person surrendering them can cuff them and put a hood on them. And in that state, they can clear their item bar and maybe see their inventory, but not fully access their inventory. So definitely a new, interesting dynamic to the game potentially being added with these hood and cuffs, because it's not just like cuffing a player and putting a hood on them. It looks like it's built into this is also a whole surrendering process and like a capturing process of people. So, going to be interesting to see added to the game, and we'll keep you posted. That is all still on a separate branch, so no visuals or real details yet, but we will keep you posted. It does look like a good velocity on the commits is going with this project. So maybe in the next week or so, we'll be able to show off some hoods and handcuffs. There's also, as a continuation of another Hack Week project, some more work on a billiards table and or a pool table, if you will. So it looks like maybe we could have actually a billiards or a pool mini game at some point in the future. I think that would be really cool. I mean, we have some card games and stuff like that already, and billiards would be a great addition to that. Maybe in some safe zones or something like that. Who knows? Maybe even you could set up some billiards around your base, and at night when you're not doing anything else, you could just play some billiards with your team. That could be cool. But we'll keep you posted on that. I'd say that, that might make it in, but I'm not necessarily sure that's completely outside of the realm of a Hack Week project yet. So we might see it, we might not. I don't really know. But we'll keep you posted as always. And then there's some more work on some new weapons coming in the game. The SKS rifle we saw the other week. If you missed it, originally this was going to be a skin of the SAR added to the Nomad DLC, but the devs got some negative replies when they announced that, and they decided to pull that from the Nomad DLC. And it looks like the SKS rifle will probably be added as its own standalone gun to the game, which I think makes sense because it really, I mean, it doesn't have any look or feel of the SAR, and it really looks like it could be its own weapon. So I think that's going to be the route they're going, and I think most of the textures and sound are good to go on that rifle. So I think it's probable we could see that come in for the June update in a couple weeks. And then, in a similar vein of weapons, there's also more work on a new weapon, the Blunderbuster or the Blunderbuss. And this, if you have played other games with blunderbusses, or if you saw the movie Looper had a blunderbuss in it, it's like a one shot, janky ass, very powerful shotgun type of thing, from what I gather. And seems to me like that would be a perfect weapon to be added to the game of Rust. Maybe like a more powerful, longer Ioka, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure what we're going to see with this, but it is cool to see new weapons get added to the game. And I think in the next couple weeks, we should have some visuals for you on that, and maybe it'll even be making its way into the game. And then finally, we've got some more progress on tiger assets. So it looks like a new animal is being worked on, a tiger. There's also been some word here and there about some new biomes coming with this. So maybe we'll have a new jungle biome with tigers in it. And there was also work on the caldera, I think that was the word, biome, which is more like a lava flow area and stuff like that. So over the next several months to year, we could see some real significant changes to various different parts of the map as well, and procedural terrain generation, given some new variants of terrain appear to be in the works. And yeah, that about does it for what's going on with Rust development for the week. Once again, we're mid-month. We got 2 weeks until the forced wipe. I'm saying that right, right? Or is this a three? No, no, this is
Mm,
a 5 Thursday month. We got three
yeah.
weeks. Yeah, something. My intuition was like, no, it's not 2 weeks, dude. You got look at that calendar again. And yeah, sure enough, we have a 5 Thursday month, and so it's actually 3 weeks from today, June 6th, where we will see this update go live and various potentially various numbers of these projects actually make it into the game. Also, if you're unfamiliar with how 5 Thursday months go, for our bi weekly wipes, they wipe today because we're mid month, and they will actually wipe again in 2 weeks. So the mediums and trios, any server with a bi weekly cycle, will wipe again 2 weeks from today, and then we'll just have a 1 week wipe cycle leading up to the forced map wipe on June 6th. So just as a heads up, if you're playing bi-weeklies on Rustafied, that is how we do it on months like this where there are 5 Thursdays. But yeah, that about does it on what's going on in Rust development. Ms. D, we got any questions from the audience?
Yeah, we have some. Can the bicycle go upstairs in outpost to reach the recyclers at this time?
Not at the minute, unfortunately. It looks like they can go up ramps, but not stairs.
Yeah. And with all this bicycle and motorbike stuff, do take it with a grain of salt because it is very much still a work in progress. And as they say, it is all very much subject to change.
Mm. World War said, try the fix cars console command near the motorcycles to make them functional.
Oh, nice. Good call. Do the fix cars real quick. If that
Mm,
works, good friggin' call.
yeah, in the meantime, is it force wipe today?
Nope, it is not Force Swipe today. We're actually mid month. The Force Swipes, if you're not familiar, are just the first Thursday of every month. And it doesn't change whether that's the first day of the month or the seventh day of the month. It doesn't change if there's 4 Thursdays the month before or 5 Thursdays like this month. It is just basically if it's a new month, the first Thursday that lands is when the forced wipe and update happens. And so the next one is 3 weeks from today. Part of my misspeak earlier in the stream where I said it was 2 weeks away. Normally it would be 2 weeks away if we had a normal 4 Thursday month, but we don't. So it's actually 3 weeks from today when we'll see forced wipe.
Can you try the bicycle, Artemis?
Yeah, what did you want? A
Motorbike.
demo?
Just drive
Demo
around.
driving it?
Yeah, if
Sure.
people want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. And just to check, we did just check the fixed cars. That didn't work, unfortunately.
Uh,
Okay.
can we add fuel to any of these motorbikes also? Like, is there a fuel
No,
storage
not for the
anywhere?
minute. And also, there's a separate entity of the fuel storage for the moment. I did try that as well, but nope, no
Oh, yeah.
luck.
Yeah. Oh, well, we tried. Worth a shot.
I think they're gonna add low grade or something to it. Mm. Is it possible with the horse fix to enter slash ride in train or street tunnels?
Not
Not
sure. We
sure.
could
Yeah,
try it.
we haven't tried that yet. We
But
can
I,
get
I
into
don't,
Outpost though.
yeah, I think there were some fixes to horses, but I don't get the sense it was like a, like horse overhaul though. So my expectations are kind of low.
And would they be here necessarily if they did do some fixes?
And yeah, that's the other thing. We might not see them here because this is where it gets a little confusing when we're dealing with normal staging branch and then the aux 2 branch. A lot of normal commits and fixes are just merged into normal staging, whereas the new functionality like these bikes is merged into aux 2. And sometimes there is a disconnect between the two. So I'm not, that's a good point, Artemis. I'm not even sure the horse fixes are even on this branch we're on right now.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it'd be reliable to test and say.
Yeah.
Are there barricades deployable in monuments on AUX2?
We can test it
What was that? Barricades deployable where?
in
In
monuments.
monuments?
Oh, I can test, but I doubt it. In fact,
Yep.
no. Everything's still building block with it in the monuments, so I haven't seen any behavioural changes there at all.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of my sense of it too.
Hmm, I'm sorry I'm late. Are the bikes going to be craftable or how are they obtained?
We don't know exactly how the bikes are going to be obtained yet. At the moment, they're not craftable and they're not on the F1 like spawn list where you can spawn, where admins can like spawn guns and clothes and stuff like that. Instead, as an admin, we just have to do the written command of spawn and then, you know, whichever the syntax is for the bikes. So, given they're still at this early stage in development, we don't have a clear view of how they're going to be obtained. Maybe they'll just be found around the map like some other vehicles. Maybe they'll be purchasable at vendors. I think those are the two most likely candidates, but we'll have to keep you posted as this gets finalized on the aux 2 branch.
Are you able to show the new gun again? And when is it coming out?
Yeah, we can show off that new SKS rifle again. and it doesn't have a specific release date. Originally, it was going to come out this month as a skin of the SAR and part of the Nomad Hazmat DLC, but that did get revoked. And so, what that tells me is the gun was pretty much ready to go. Artemis, are you seeing anything really off with that gun? Any unfinished business with that gun that's
Not,
really obvious?
yeah, not necessarily at the minute. Feels pretty good to use, pretty predictable, and yeah, all the functionalities there as far as I can see.
Yeah, so given that, I think there's a very high likelihood that we will see this enter the game as just a new gun as part of the June update. So I'd say in 3 weeks, when the forced wipe and update happens, I'd say it's pretty likely we'll see this SKS rifle make its way in. But again, none of that is confirmed, and we're not the developers of the game. We're just fans of the game like you who report on development news and run the best servers we can. So, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, next. We were just testing these out. This is not a question. When the crude gestures are added, you should title the block Face Punch gives it player space the middle finger with new DLC.
That is a good title. That is a good title. I like that.
Let's do a recap.
All right, we'll do a little recap here. It's not the busiest news week we've got, but we are over here on the aux 2 branch, showing off the new vehicle type. We've got pedal powered bicycles and motorbikes as well. And these are very much a work in progress. There's still some missing textures and functionality. However, it does give us kind of a little sneak peek on what we may see when these bikes and motorbikes go live in the game. So there's three variants basically. There's the pedal powered bike, there's the motorbike, and then there's the motorbike with a sidecar variant. You can see the motorbikes are the white guys here with no textures, and you can see that one has a little space for sidecar on the side. So it looks like that will be a two-person vehicle, and the bikes and normal motorbike will just be a one-person. I could see a world in which maybe two people could get on the motorbike potentially, but it doesn't look like they're accounting for that right now. But nevertheless, these vehicles are on their way into the game as they are being tested on the aux 2 branch. Will they make it in for June? I think there's a chance, but it might be kind of a small chance given, it's 3 weeks away and a new vehicle type can be a lot to account for. So I'd say there's a small chance we could see these come in for the June update, but I wouldn't bet on it. Nevertheless, we'll keep you posted on the aux 2 branch and once these get merged over into staging. And I'd say if these do get textures and the motorbikes become functional in the next couple days, and then if we see the bike stuff get merged from aux to normal staging, then I think there's at that point a very good chance we'll see these for the June update. But I think that does remain to be seen. So as always, we'll just keep you posted and up to date as more comes to light on these guys. There's also more work going on the Radtown Redux. If you're unfamiliar, this is kind of a throwback to legacy Radtowns. Back in Legacy, there was small Rad and large Radtown. And this is going to be, yeah, just a throwback to that, kind of a new monument, a new place to get loot. There'll probably be some scientist NPCs. And it even looks like with this, there's a new type of loot crate that's kind of also a throwback to legacy loot crates that will be coming in as well. No word on when this is going to come in, and also no word on if this is just going to be one standalone monument or if it's going to be a new variant of monument types. Because based on the pictures, I could see how they could make a couple different variants of this pretty easily, but maybe it'll just be one Radtown that is added as kind of a little throwback to Legacy. We'll keep you posted as more comes to light. It's all still on a separate branch, and we only have two visuals that the devs posted the other week, so still remains to be seen exactly how this is going to shake out. But we'll keep you posted as always, and of course, stream once it is, merged in and everything like that. We've also got some uh, what would you call it? Some additions to the hack week from last week, or some things moving on from Hack Week that might actually make their way into the game. Specifically, the Crude gestures is something that was a Hack Week project last week, and they banged out a bunch of these new gestures pretty quickly. And now this week, we're seeing that get merged into a media projects branch, which does lead me to believe this is likely going to make its way into the game in the near future. So, whereas a lot of Hack Week projects never make it into the game, it looks like this one will. And what comes with these crude gestures is a bunch of, well, just that crude gestures. You got the middle finger, double middle finger, crank up middle finger, cutthroat, finger guns, and more. And so it's going to be some cool new crude gestures coming into the game. No word if this is going to be its own standalone DLC, like the middle finger DLC, or if they're just going to give these away to people in the game. But we'll keep you posted as more comes to light. And also, no word on when this will make it in. But I mean, based on this video that the devs posted last week, it looks like, I mean, it looks like that's a middle finger gesture. I don't know how much more you need to do with that. It looks like they're probably ready to go. So maybe we'll see them for June. We'll keep you posted. There's also a variety of fixes going on. This is something that we've seen over the past couple weeks and is always nice to see, where the devs are just kind of combing through all these various different miscellaneous things in the game and fixing them up. And so this week we're seeing just a huge slew of fixes, anywhere from various horse fixes to there's some fixes for scientists attacking the heli. There's fixes for long messages in chat UI and some wire tool issues that have been fixed, and um, just a whole slew of miscellaneous fixes, basically. If you really want to see the full list of it, then head over to rustafied.com and scroll down on my article this week. There is a full list of just all the miscellaneous fixes they've been working on. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other miscellaneous projects that they're working on. So we're seeing some optimization and performance improvements when it comes to maps. And that's always nice to see. This is a several faceted body of work from what we're seeing. The map performance stuff. It's working on improving the loading of assets when you're loading in the game, and it also seems to be around optimizing the monuments and the various different amount of things that need to load when you're approaching a monument in the game. And hopefully, the net result of this is not only quicker loading into the game and into a server, but then also once you're in the server, ideally you get more FPS and less hitches as you're traveling around the map. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. There's some new textures for jackhammers coming in, so I think jackhammers might get a slight overhaul as far as looks are concerned in the near future. There's also a very interesting project which is around the hoods and handcuffs. And this is really around prisoner hoods and adding handcuffs to the game. And it isn't just the addition of two new items, but it's actually the addition from based on the commits of a new functionality, like a surrendering and capturing functionality, where a player will be able to surrender and the person capturing them will be able to view and modify the belt inventory of the surrendering player, but their broader inventory will be view only to the capturer. So this is definitely an interesting new dynamic being worked on for the game of actually really like taking prisoners and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm sure that'll really create for some high vibe interactions with players. But we'll keep you posted as more comes to light on that. Still on a separate branch, so it's hard to suss out exactly what that's going to look like. But it does look like you'll be able to capture people and handcuff them and hood them and maybe toss them on the back of a horse. I don't know. Bring them back to your base and I don't know. Do whatever you want to do with them, I guess. There's also work on a billiards table. This was a Hack Week project that looks like it may be moving forward into prime time development. And that would be cool to have another little mini game to play with your crew maybe at night or go to a safe zone and shoot some pool with the various other survivors around the map. And there's more work on weapons. There's the SKS rifle we just showed off that we've seen a couple commits for it, but as we mentioned, it looks like it's pretty much ready to go. So I think the SKS rifle will likely make its way into the game and make its first appearance in the game officially for June would be my guess. but we'll keep you posted. It does look like they're not going to have that be part of a DLC as originally planned. It looks like, I think it will just be its own standalone weapon. And they're also working on a blunderbuster, which is another new weapon, which based on cultural references and everything like that, looks like it will be probably a single shot, very powerful, janky ass little shotgun. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then there's also some more work on tiger assets. So a new type of animal potentially entering the game, tigers entering the game. And with that, I do believe there has been um, some work. I'm not sure how forward it's moving, but it does look like there's some new biomes and stuff being worked on. There was a caldera biome a couple months ago that was mentioned, and I think there's also a jungle biome that's being worked on. So maybe the tigers will come in with a new kind of jungle part of the map, which would be cool to see. It would be cool to have some more contrast as you travel the map, and especially some more kind of PvE dangerous areas of the map, like with lava flows or tigers in the jungle. I could see that being a nice addition to the game. So, yeah, we're keeping an eye on that. No visuals on the tiger assets yet, but we will let you know as soon as we see something around that. And yeah, that about does it for what's going on in Rust development for the week. Once again, we are 3 weeks from the forced update and wipe. And yeah, that's going to be June 6th. And yeah, over the next couple of weeks, we should see this stuff start to take form and get a better idea of what specific functionality and features we'll be making it in for the June update. And in the meantime, Miss D, we got any more questions from the audience?
Mm, not a lot, but we have a few. Um, what's up with the hackers lately? Isn't it worse now? And are they still doing something about it?
Yeah, the hacking situation is not great right now. It's funny because this is always like this ebb and flow thing. And what we saw last month was EAC started banning hackers quicker than I had seen previously. And Facepunch had mentioned that they've been talking with EAC and working on improvements and everything like that. And we actually did see some improvements from EAC as far as the time it takes many hackers to get banned from the server. And that's great to see. But then, as anything with an ebb and flow is, it seems like the hackers have come back in full swing and are just coming up with new accounts as quick as the old ones can be banned. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. And I'm intending that EAC continues to improve. I know Facepunch is working with them to make improvements, and we did see some improvements, but it's still there's a long uphill road to go with regards to that. And then, of course, internally, as always, what we're doing is we're working with some third party anti cheat solutions, and we're actually developing our own in house anti cheat solutions as well. And we continue to build that out, we continue to work on that. And as we get more confidence with those systems, we crank them up to be more efficient and quicker. And so, really, when it comes down to it, we're doing everything we can to remove hackers from the game as quickly as we can. I do want to acknowledge everyone who does reports on my.rustafied.com. That's our reporting site. We're working on an overhaul of that reporting site to make it even better and even more interactive and quicker and easier for you. We're going to start just capturing all the F7 reports. So instead of having to do like an F7 and then go to our website and do another report there, we're just going to be feeding in all the F7 reports because that's already a built in reporting kind of pipeline. And we're doing a bunch of other things to make this better. But I do want to acknowledge all the people who do go and fill out reports, and then especially the people who hit us up on Discord and say, hey, this is a really obvious hacker. This is the report ID. Thank you for not calling out the names in Discord. That never helps us. But if you do go onto our Discord and call out a report ID, then that can really help us like pinpoint um, the hacker and get rid of them as quick as possible. But it is all to say we really are doing the best we can. It is a shit situation. We saw it get a little bit better, but then it's swinging back the other way, of course. And it's just kind of what we have to deal with. I'm really not crazy about the onus being on server owners to remove hackers when literally the developers of the game hire a company who the whole point of the company is to remove hackers from video games. It's not like they like sell smoothies and then as a side gig they remove hackers from. No, their whole fucking point is to remove hackers from video games. And the idea that Facepunch hired these guys 10 years ago and hacking is still such a problem in the game, and then the onus comes onto the server owner to remove these hackers, when I'll tell you, we don't have the proper tools to do it. We don't have the proper tools to be able to effectively moderate and remove all these hackers. We just don't have it. We do the best we can, but we have a limited tool set here. So it is all to say, and not to just drone on, but it's a fucking problem, and it's something that really bothers me, and it's something that I work every week on with my team to see how we can improve and get better. But at the end of the day, the onus shouldn't be on us. It's not our fucking job. It's EAC's job, and they should do their job better. But that's what I'll say on hacking for this week. Feel free to ask again next week. I'm sure I'll have another rant to go off on.
Mhm.
Yeah, someone just said actually you should publish your ban list. We used to have that actually.
Yeah, that had some opportunities for abuse and things like that. And so it was one of those situations where it was nice to have, but then some certain people ruined it. And, you know, when people say this is why we can't have nice things, well, it was kind of one of those situations.
Yeah.
But I will consider it. That was years ago, and I'm going to look into it again and see, because yeah, it's a big problem, and I really do want to do everything that we can do as an organization, not only to remove hackers from our servers, but to just remove them from the space. And we do work with other orgs, and we do have various things that I'm not going to go into detail with, but I will look into the idea of publishing our ban list again, because potentially that can help other orgs and help um, the space as a whole. And I am very interested in doing that.
Actually, also, I want to add to the hackers, like a lot of people like scream in chat, "Oh my God, it's a hacker in like F7 or whatever." I'd said F7, but 10.9 or whatever. Just don't call them out in chat. It's really hard for the moderators to catch them if people just keep calling them out. Just go discreetly into Discord or make a report or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to go about it. And the other thing I will say is we get about 20,000 to 30,000 reports a month. So if you extrapolate that out, that's like, 1,000 reports a day. That can be hard to triage. And I will tell you, a lot of the people that get reported are just people who have 7 years of the game. They've got 8,000 hours in the game, and they've got a clean record. That's not to say they're definitively not hacking, but I will tell you, it's a lot harder to catch someone who's got 7 clean years and tens of thousands of hours in the game. It's harder to catch them hacking than it is someone with an account that's 7 hours old and they've got 2 hours in the game and they're going 40-1, kill to death. So, a lot of people that are reported are just either legit players or, man, do they hide it well. And that's another place where I just point over to EAC and say that's where EAC, the onus needs to be on them. It's literally their fucking job that they get paid for. Facepunch doesn't pay me to remove hackers from the game, but they do pay EAC. And so I do like thank you EAC for making some improvements and getting a little better, but you still have a big fucking hill to climb. So keep climbing, EAC. Keep climbing.
Okay, next question. With changes and mentions of additional changes to workbenches, is there any indication of forced BP wipe in the horizon?
Not that I've heard of. I think it definitely would be on the table as they're making changes to tech trees and all this stuff. And I was even kind of thinking potentially with the tech tree tax and everything, last month would have been an opportunity to do a forced blueprint wipe, but we haven't seen a forced blueprint wipe in the better part of 2, 3 years. And I think the devs are really kind of hesitant on when they want to do that. And the last time they did it, it wasn't even a change to the meta of progression in the game that catalyzed it. It was actually just going into the holiday season for, I want to say, 2022. And they said, oh, a lot of people play in December and come back to the game in December. So for December, we're going to force a blueprint wipe so everyone gets a fresh start. So given that was the last forced blueprint wipe and it was 2 years ago, I think the chances are low that we're going to see a forced blueprint wipe anytime soon. And if we do, maybe it will just be again in December for people coming back to get back into the game and to give them a fresh start. But that really is up to the devs, and I haven't heard anything specifically from them with regards to any forced blueprint wipes as of late. So no sign on the horizon.
Mm, Can you please change the Rust vehicles handlings to something more realistic and more agile?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. They are a little janky, aren't they? Which I guess maybe that is just perfect for Rust. But unfortunately, we can't change anything because we're not the devs of the game. We're just fans of the game like you who love reporting on development news and running the best servers we can. And I will take this opportunity to thank all you all for tuning in, to people who give bits and subscribe on Twitch, and to our wonderful, beautiful, loyal VIP customers. Thank you all so much, really, because we wouldn't be able to do this week after week, month after month. Shit, we've been doing this for 10 years now, and we wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of the community. So, really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for the support.
Mm, I think that's it. I think World War just said maybe these new bikes will help EAC climb better and more.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm open to anything at this point as long as we just get rid of these freaking hackers. I mean, how is this still such a problem? But it's a tough nut to crack, I guess, as they say. But I hope EAC cracks those fucking nuts because Jesus Christ, I'm at my wits' end here. I'm gonna move into the woods, throw out all my computers, and be a fucking hermit. Um, and I'm serious, but not yet, not yet. I love you guys too much. I'm gonna keep running these servers for the foreseeable future.
Nice. I think there was something else that I wanted to. Oh yeah, your the Rustafied stats, like server stats, and it's still
Yes,
in
yes,
work. Yeah.
we are still working on that. We're engaged with a development team. The first part is they're redoing our reporting website. Our reporting website was sort of a swing and a miss. Um, we did it, but it wasn't. It has some fundamental issues, and it wasn't exactly what we wanted. So we're kind of taking that back to the drawing board and improving that greatly. And then once that reporting website is up, we're going to move our map voting onto the website and out of Discord. And then after that, and in tandem at the same time, we are working on the plugin for the stats on the server side, and we're working on the ingest model, and it's a lot of data to work with. So we're trying to play with different types of storage and caching and everything like that. And then we'll be working on the front end of that as well. So it's still looking like sometime later this year we will have the stats and the leaderboard go live, and it's our goal is to have it be something that really hasn't been seen in the space yet, like something really special and something unique and something really informative and and valuable to players. So we're working on that, and that's all going to be part of the my.rustified.com ecosystem. Really, we're really working on building that out. We're going to have a new server list in there, so you can find the server that's right for you, and all that stuff. So we got a lot of plans in that web development realm. And if anything, I just wish I had like a bunch more web developers who knew the space and who could just like crank it out a lot quicker. But unfortunately, we don't. So we got to be patient with the development cycles and how long they take. But I am really excited about what that's going to look like, and on the Rustified. And as we go further into this year, we're going to see a lot of quality of life improvements for our players, and that's going to be really cool to see.
I don't think actually there was something. We tried the horse after they changed something and fixed some. It's so smooth now. Like it's crazy.
Nice. So the
Yeah.
horse fixes, it looks like they are on Ox 2, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good, good. And yeah,
And they
there's
can
definitely needed.
yeah, and they can also go into outpost now and don't get stuck like they did. And
Beautiful. Yeah, that's
I
really good
think
to see.
yeah, that's all.
All right, awesome. Well, I think we will leave it at that. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to people who subscribe on Twitch and give bits, and to our beautiful, wonderful, loyal VIP customers. And also thank you, Artemis and Miss D, for being my co-MCs as always.
As always, you're welcome.
Yep, you're more than welcome.
And yeah, we will be back same time, same place next week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. And then every week as well, we've got on Rustafied.com, I got an article that goes live first thing Eastern time Thursday morning. That's just summarizes everything going on in development in text and pictures. And also check us out on X or Twitter or whatever. We got some shorts and things like that that go up as new things hit development and hit the staging branch. So, yeah, keep an eye on that for news throughout the week, and we will be back next week. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs, signing off.